Hey guys, we're back with some more whitetail content, and in today's video we're going to be kind of taking a step back from the habitat management and hunting strategy that we normally talk about on this channel, but we're going to be discussing something that's equally important, and that's the decline in hunter numbers in Michigan and really throughout the country, and why it's a big deal and what we can do to influence the next generation of hunters. And if you guys are new to this channel, please consider subscribing if you like what you see and give us a thumbs up. Now, I don't have the exact numbers right in front of me, but the last report that I looked at, I think it for Michigan was, I think from 2013 to 2018, so that 5-year period. And so really it was only leaving out the 2019 season, so last year. And I think the numbers for fishing licenses, the sales were down about 5%. So that's a pretty big number when you think about how much money is generated from fishing license sales, but that was nothing in comparison to the hunter numbers. The hunting license sales were down, I think, 18% in Michigan from 2013 to 2018, and that's a huge number. And why that's such a big deal is everything that the Department of Natural Resources does, or the Michigan DNR, any project that they do is funded by those license sales. Basically, their entire budget is from the revenue generated from license sales. And so if they're going to be doing any public land, whitetail habitat work, if they're going to be doing waterfowl work or anything, even with fishing, if they're doing something with fishing, all of that money comes from the license sales. So if there's a decrease in license sales especially by 18%, that's a huge number, and they're not going to be able to complete as many projects for a lot of the guys that hunt public land. For those of you that hunt private land, this should be a concern to you as well, because the DNR isn't the only one that's being hurt by these low license sales. Any hunting or fishing shop out there, bait and tackle shop, or feed store, camera company, any company that sells merchandise geared towards hunting and fishing, these companies are at risk of losing revenue due to the loss in potential customers. Now, you got the big stores like Cabela's and Bass Pro. Those guys are going to be fine. But those aren't the ones that I'm worried about. It's the mom and pop shops, your local, hunting and fishing shops, tackle shops that are really going to be hurt the most by having less customers to sell their product to. And for me, I love hunting and fishing so much that I don't want to see any of those people go out of business. I would like to see more of these types of places pop up. But unless we can kind of tackle this problem and fix the trend of lower license sales, it's really going to be an issue for these companies. Now, the reason the sales are down shouldn't really be a surprise. The older generation, the baby boomers and their parents, are kind of phasing out of hunting. They're getting too old to get out, and they either can't do it anymore, they're losing interest, they're doing some other things. And then my generation and the generation below me haven't really done enough to kind of pick up where our parents left off. And that's where we need to do a better job. So I'm making this video not to tell everyone else what to do, but also to kind of tell myself what to do. We as private landowners, I think, have the greatest responsibility, but we also we're kind of stuck in our ways. We keep our deer hunting property locked up tighter than we do our bank accounts, and it's while I think that's very important because you need to control what's going on in your property, you need to keep the integrity of your property intact, but we have the opportunity to really show new young hunters the best that deer hunting has to offer. And so I'm not saying that we need to let somebody on our property every single year and let them, basically give them the keys to your property. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying that we have the responsibility to maybe have someone out while we're, looking for sheds, or maybe if you're putting in a food plot, ask your son, daughter, your niece, nephew, grandkids, as long as their parents say it's okay, out to help. Let them discover this just like you discovered it when you were young. Some people don't have parents that hunt, so those kids really need someone else to take them under their wing and kind of show them the outdoors. And again, I'm not saying that you need to give them the keys to your property. I would never do that, and I don't expect you to do that. But what I try to do every year, and this doesn't even necessarily mean somebody young, but I try to have someone out to my property every year that doesn't have the opportunity to hunt their own private land. And again, I'm not saying I give them free range to sit wherever they want or shoot whatever they want. I give them options on where they can potentially sit, and I tell them what they're allowed to shoot. It's very simple, but they're still here, they still get to hunt, and they see deer every time. And it's a very positive experience. It's a fun experience that they would not have been able to do if I didn't reach out and extend that invitation. It's just something that I think that we as private landowners need to do a better job of to help the hunting community. So this video, I just talked about how I try to get like someone who doesn't have access to private land on my property every year, but this video is not going to be tailored toward someone who already hunts. This video is going to be more tailored towards young hunters and new hunters, kids, and how we can get them interested. And so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking about 3 things that we can really do as hunters to try to pique their interest and get them genuinely excited about hunting to hopefully take our place someday. The first thing is probably the most important one, and that's getting a young person involved in hunting. Someone who isn't familiar with it, who hasn't done it before, get them exposed to hunting. Now that does not mean that you're going to be taking them out in the middle of the rut and you're going to be having them sit with you in your favorite stand. That's not what I'm saying. Just get them involved in hunting. That might mean take them deer hunting. It might mean take them turkey hunting, but you don't even necessarily have to take them hunting. You could take them shed hunting. If you're making a new food plot, you can kind of take them with you while you rake the leaves off the plot, while you're doing maintenance. Maybe take them out scouting in the spring when you're trying to figure out where you want to place your next stand. Really, it's just about getting them exposed to the outdoors so they can ask the questions. They can have a curiosity with why we're doing this, and then you can kind of explain to them what you're doing, why you're doing it. You don't have to get as in-depth as maybe we will discuss on this channel, but you can kind of say we're looking for the deer antlers because every year the deer drop their antlers in the winter and then they start to grow new antlers. So we're going to go to try to find them and talk about maybe the best places to find those. So when they want to go out or show their friends what they found, they can kind of have a little story to go with it. The second thing that you can do to get somebody interested in hunting is make sure that they're comfortable when they're out there. So what I mean by that is you are not taking them out during the middle of the rut when it's 10 degrees. Now, us experienced hunters, when we see that temperature drop from 30 to 10 degrees, we're excited because we know that we're going to be hitting the woods. But that will not be a very positive experience for someone that's new to hunting. If you take somebody out there and even with hand warmers on and toe warmers, and they're sitting in a stand for 4 hours, they're going to get cold. And we can take it, but someone who's new to hunting, that's going to be a very negative experience, and we don't want someone new to hunting every time they think about it to have a kind of a negative reaction, or they think that, oh, I'm just going to freeze my toes off every time I go in the woods. We don't want that. So one way you can make sure that they're comfortable is if you have an enclosed blind and a portable heater, take that with you if you wanted to hunt sometime like when it's colder out. Or you don't even have to take them deer hunting. Turkey season is a great time to get somebody new in the woods. You can kind of even walk around, stalk birds, you can call them in. They're a lot more responsive to calls. You don't have to worry about talking as much, sitting still. Turkey hunting is a lot more forgiving than deer hunting. The turkeys will come back a lot of times the next day if you scare them off, or so it's people don't get as worried about turkey hunting as they do their deer hunting. So if you want to introduce somebody new to hunting, turkey season would be a great time to get them out there. The third thing you can do is really make sure that the experience that they have is positive. So for example, let's say you're going out shed hunting and you might have a couple sheds that you would be fine with parting ways with, is you've got to go hide those throughout your property. And if you take a young person out and you're going shed hunting and you haven't found any on your own, maybe steer them towards the ones that you've placed. So when they find that's a genuine discovery for them, and that's such a fun thing to experience for them, and they'll have that memory for a long time, and every time they look at that antler, they'll remember that. Just make sure that they're always having a positive experience when it comes to being outside. And if you have someone that's new to hunting and really wants to get out and see deer, maybe if you have a youth hunt in your state, Here in Michigan, I think that's early September. I'm not quite sure. We've never done it, but you could easily take somebody out just to watch deer over a food plot in mid-September, and then you still have a month. Even if you spook out every deer in that food plot, you still have a month to let everything settle down before your hunting really takes off. Another time, if you wanted to take someone out and actually hunt, like I said before, is if you have an enclosed blind in December when the deer are really trying to recover from the rut, and maybe when that second rut's starting to kick off, you can sit in a blind and look over that food plot, and hopefully you'll still have some deer movement then. But these are just a few things that you can do to really make the experience positive for the young person to try to get them involved. So again, I just want to stress how important it is that we kind of take this seriously. It's not to the breaking point yet, but it very well could be in my lifetime. And that's kind of scary because I would love for my son have the same type of experiences that I had growing up with hunting. And so it's really our responsibility, and especially private landowners, to tackle this issue head on. But I think that if we do those three things, we can have a great impact on turning that around.